This video is all about B2B demand generation, which is basically a holistic approach to understanding not just one channel or not just, for example, lead generation or not just sales. It's a holistic thing where we understand a broader picture of how all of the units work together. So as generation specialist or someone who's, the architect behind a demand generation system for a business, which is what I do from time to time. I consult businesses on their demand generation, which is much bigger than just say lead generation. So this video is going to go into really understanding how we approach demand generation. This video is sponsored by b2bhero.co. This is my blog. There's a link in the description below. Definitely check it out. I'm writing so many articles around LinkedIn ads, demand generation, lead generation, all the different channels and tools and all sorts of cool stuff. So definitely check out my blog. So there are generally 5 steps in the whole process, but probably 3 of them are the most important and 3 of them are where we focus most on. The first one with B2B is not as important, but it's something that I feel like we need to be doing more of, which is the first awareness stage. People don't know who you are, what you're doing, what service you provide. So kind of creating this awareness to start with is stage number 1. But often we can actually mix awareness with the second one, which is lead generation. So lead generation is normally at the forefront of B2B. It's one of the most important parts of B2B demand generation strategy. And there are loads of tools and tactics and ways we can do lead generation, different channels, different advertising platforms that we can do lead generation. I'm going to jump into this in a sec. But basically, we can actually create awareness directly with the lead generation tactics. And it really depends if you're sales-led or marketing-led. With a more marketing-led business, you can actually break down the stages more. And I'm going to go into that in a minute as well. So the first one is awareness, second one is lead generation. The third one is how do we convert the leads into an action? So we're creating demand for our service at the moment, at this point. So it's demand. We're trying to turn a lead, someone who just downloaded a PDF or signed up to some kind of webinar, or maybe just clicked on to see our sales page. How do we convert those leads into actions? And an action is, for example, a demo if you're a B2B SaaS company, or a free trial, or for example, a sales call if you're a freelancer. Like I'm a LinkedIn ads consultant, but if you're like a design specialist of some sort and you're consulting other companies, you need to convert leads into demand, into actions. And those actions are, this is probably one of the points that most demand generation activities get stuck. They know how to get leads really well, but they don't know how to convert those leads. So this is all about the follow-up email sequence. These are all these different tools we can use to basically make that conversion. And again, it depends if you're sales-led or marketing-led, because if you're more marketing-led with less human touch points, then you'll be using more like retargeting on different platforms. Or for example, you're going to be using follow-up email sequences way more prominently. Whereas if you're sales-led, you might actually just get the lead and then really heavily rely on a personalized outreach with, cold calling, personalized cold emailing, outbound LinkedIn, but much more personalized from a real human being. The fourth I call sales, but it depends if you're marketing or sales led. At this point, this is now how do we convert those actions, i.e. the phone call, the demo, or the free trial, into a signed contract or a paying customer. So if you're doing a free trial, that's more marketing led. There's very little human touch points, but you still need to go through the process of like, okay, they've signed up for a free trial. Is your process purely just letting them use your software for a month and then the paid starts? Or maybe it's a whole experience where they need a little bit more information or some touch points. So understanding that once they've signed up to that free trial, what happens in between before they become a paying customer, and getting really high conversion rates there, because that's really important for marketing-led B2B SaaS companies. But if you're sales-led, say a consultant or B2B SaaS sales-led kind of company, then it's all about the sales process. How do you conduct the sales call? Is it a 2 phone call system? Is it a 3-month or 12-month long saga because you've got a really high LTV? You're selling $1 million plus product or service, so you have to have millions of touch points. More of an ABM, account-based marketing type strategy, or is it more of a 2-step process? You can sign a contract within a couple of weeks. More on average of B2B, it's 3 months. And this even goes for like consultants and stuff. A lot of us, we will think we convert only, the ones that convert right away. We have a phone call, okay, that's ready, let's sign a contract. But actually those that don't convert then might convert in 3 months. They might not be ready now. So we need to have a whole process around this sales process, which is the follow up and sales, and making sure we, have touch points on them, even if they're not ready then and then in the sales process. The final one, which is often completely ignored, is referral. Is once, this customer becomes this prospect becomes a customer, making sure they have a really good experience and making sure that we have a program in place that they can recommend us to more customers. And this is a really important part of it. A lot of B2B SaaS companies or even freelancers forget to create any kind of referral program. It could be as simple as just having an email at a certain point when you feel your client or customer is in a really happy mood, you've just done something amazing for them, making sure you have a trigger in your system which can then send them a really easy way for them to refer you. Or it could be literally a referral program where they can make some money. There are numerous different referral programs you can do in this stage. But the most important is lead gen, converting leads into phone calls or actions, and converting the actions into signed contracts. Those are the main three. And then you have one in the front and one at the end.